The thoughts of Fionnuala Meredith. Now, innovation is one of the qualities we might want from our folks on the Hill, a readiness to take a new approach to solving an old problem. Well, not, it seems, when it comes to saving money on home heating. 3 years ago, there was much rejoicing over a new initiative, the Green New Deal, supported by political and civic groups to help people insulate their homes, saving them money and creating lots of much-needed jobs. Now the Social Development Minister has scrapped it in favour of a much more limited project to replace old boilers. So what went wrong? Julia Paul investigates.
Insulating your house prevents heat escaping and saves on fuel. But tens of thousands of homes are not up to modern energy efficiency standards, and currently few people have the money to pay for such work. So, in 2009, a group began developing a scheme to invest public money in insulating homes. The scheme was known as the Green New Deal, and it was drawn up in collaboration with a range of groups from across civic society. It also had the support of the 5 political parties that sit on the executive, plus the Green Party. And yet now it's clear it's not going ahead. So just how did the Green New Deal become the Green No Deal? This is the man behind the project, John Woods.
The idea is that the Green New Deal company, as it would be formed, it'd be a mutual company for customer benefit, would be in your street, and we'd come knocking on your door and say, look, we can offer you a free energy survey, and that survey will show you what you need to make your house more efficient. That will cost, let's say that's going to cost £1,500. And you'll say, well, I haven't got £1,500. And we'll say, well, don't worry, here's a small grant from government, and we'll organise a loan for the rest of that money. And then you'll pay back your loan through the savings you make on your energy bills.
The executive initially agreed, and £12 million was earmarked in the budget for the scheme. According to the Green New Deal's business plan, that £12 million would have led to around £80 million being spent insulating up to 50,000 homes in Northern Ireland, reducing carbon emissions and tackling fuel poverty. In turn, that would have created up to 1,100 jobs and boosted the economy by £440 million.
Northern Ireland has the highest fuel poverty figures, not just in the UK, but on these islands.
It certainly made sense to the voluntary sector groups at the sharp end of dealing with fuel poverty.
Bryson has been working for a long time on addressing fuel poverty with many other organisations in Northern Ireland. I think the Green New Deal offered an opportunity to do that comprehensively. Green New Deal was brought forward by civic society. The people who got together with the trade union movement, the CBI, the third sector, the farmers' union, all people coming together, thinking through this programme, said this is a good thing to do. There was an empty seat at that table. It was government. The officials didn't come to the table. They wanted to receive a proposal. If we know it's a problem, well, why don't we all sit down together and look for a solution?
But last week, the Minister for Social Development made it clear that the £12 million was going to fund the boiler scrappage scheme to be run by the Housing Executive, scrapping the Green New Deal.
The options submitted by the Northern Ireland Housing Executive have been successful and approved by DFP, and I hope to be making an announcement on the details of this in the next few days.
But the Green New Deal also had the support of all of the political parties in the executive.
The Green New Deal offers great opportunities for political leaders to create the right conditions for the private sector to deliver on key social and environmental objectives.
So why didn't Sinn Féin object?
There was a small working group set up between the Minister of Finance and Personnel, the Minister of Enterprise, the Minister of Social Development, who are all 3 DUP ministers, along with the Minister of Agriculture, who was a Sinn Féin minister. But it seems that this decision was solely taken based on an economic appraisal. And from what I'm hearing, the sole reason it was turned down was that the proposal from the Green New Deal group was too radical, it was too innovative, and it seems that civil servants and some ministers here just aren't ready for that level of innovation.
I have a press release here from your colleague Oliver McMullen, who's welcoming the boiler scheme.
Yeah. We are in favour of a boiler replacement scheme, but I think a boiler replacement scheme could have been part of the Green New Deal itself.
There's no doubt the boiler replacement scheme will make a difference. It's offering householders with a boiler more than 15 years old a grant of up to £1,000 towards replacing it, benefiting around 16,000 homes, reducing fuel costs and creating jobs.
Phoenix have been working in conjunction with the wider gas industry for over the last 3 years, really campaigning to see a scheme such as this to be introduced. In England and Wales in 2010 a similar scheme was introduced. Unfortunately it didn't happen in Northern Ireland. We have run a small pilot over the last 3 years. It's been oversubscribed over those 3 years, so I have every confidence that this scheme will be a success.
And that's certainly the view of the Minister.
The boiler replacement scheme, when it was carefully examined, there was an overwhelming case for it, whereas the business case for the Green New Deal was fundamentally flawed.
The business community disagrees. It accepts the scheme had risks, but says it also had greater benefits.
This has been through a detailed economic appraisal. From a value for money perspective, the Green New Deal proposal won on all accounts. What the economic assessment did realise was there were significantly higher risks on a number of the approaches. And this is a very innovative scheme. We believe we could mitigate a number of those risks. Several of those risks we could actually address before we actually spent any of the public sector money. So that's where its failings were. One would have liked to have thought, much earlier on in the process, we could have had a conversation, see how could those risks have been reduced, mitigated, and indeed how could it have been taken forward.
Did you ever meet with the Green New Deal people yourself?
Oh yes, I did.
I'm told you didn't.
Well, I met people advocating the Green New Deal.
The actual Green New Deal group?
Well, the whole point is I don't make the decision on this directly. It's made by the business case being assessed by the economists.
But you have made the decision then?
I have made the decision on the basis of what I've been told by the economists. And the economists are the folk who assess a business case. Does it stand up to scrutiny? When I looked at that, it was clear the decision was made for me.
So, for government, the Green New Deal is off the table, while for its advocates, it's back to the drawing board.